Welcome to Bull Moose Radio, or whatever radio we're going to come through today. We're going to do a review of the highly anticipated Star Wars The Last Jedi. And we have some thoughts.
Thoughts.
Not those types, but, there were a few of those. So, what we're going to do, I think what we should do is start off with like a non-spoilery bit real quick. So people know our 2 cents, and we'll move into spoilers and our details. What is your non-spoiler review of this?
Well, it has a lot of plot holes. There's very little in the ways of sense in this movie. It's very progressive in that aspect. It's more about feelings and less about like any sort of immersion, any sort of facts. It's all gone. It's there's some things in here. The Force is it's very powerful in this film. The actual like character development is very little. Rey is
Mary
it feels
Sue
like it's
once
a self
again.
it feels like it was a self-insert of like this feminist power trip. There
Yeah.
was a new Jar Jar Binks, who's even worse. It's basically another self-insert, but it's like a fangirl, a Star Wars fangirl. They're really into that Star Wars film. That's apparently like she seems like the type of person who might actually enjoy, like a feminist. That's about the only person who could really enjoy this film. Like a
Yeah.
die-hard feminist, not just like like a regular feminist. This is like third wave is the only wave feminist.
Yeah, if you're a Star Wars fan, you're not going to enjoy this film. If you're a feminist or a fan of feminism, you're going to enjoy this film. I mean, basically, okay, so when I was watching it, in the beginning I was kind of cool with it. And then the first, yeah, kind of. Yeah, I was giving it all I could. But it ticked me off at the first humorous scene. And it's not really a spoiler, but I won't even say. You'll hear about it in the non-spoiler section, but or the spoiler section. What am I saying? God, it's still pissing me off. The thing is, like, it's just after that, I didn't like any second of it really, except the end. But even that pissed me off. There
Yeah, the
are,
end that was my favorite part actually, because the movie was over.
yeah, the credits were really great. That was like the best part. But
Yeah, like if it was just the credits, that'd actually be much better than this.
that's very, very good story in the credits. Um, but it just there is no story, and what story there is, it's just you know characters bouncing around, doing things. Some things we've already seen in previous films, so it's a copy of, and then they have this whole plot line with Finn that is a complete waste of time. Doesn't need to be in the film, but it's there. It's a complete waste of time. I still don't understand why that segment's there. If you literally took it out, you would notice no difference. You could literally edit it out, no difference at all. Um, so that pissed me off. Like you were mentioning, the Force stuff makes no sense. They totally changed the rules of the universe, and that completely makes zero sense in this film. And then it just makes every other film have, like, oh, why couldn't you have done this here? Why couldn't you have done this here? They could have done all this before. So that's kind of BSy. There is some, I'd say the acting overall, I think was actually better than The Force Awakens. It
Well,
was,
you're not setting the bar very high with that one.
no, I'm not. No, 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 I'm not. I mean, I'm still not the biggest fan of Adam Driver. I think he's doesn't really act well. The Finn, he was decent. He was better than the last film. Rey was fine. Just nothing really special. I mean, she had some emotional moments. Luke was actually pretty good. I'll give Mark Hamill some credit. Like, after 50 years of not really doing much acting, he actually did, like, a great performance. Um, and there were some other, like, small roles. Like, that guy that was, like, it's kind of a spoiler, but there's, like, a hacker character that does some hacking. He was very good.
Oh no, I just thought you'd go and pick daisies all day.
Oh, Daisy too. I see what you did there, Daisy Ridley. Uh huh.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did.
Yeah, yeah. So he was Dear Benedico or Benicio del Toro. He was in Sicario, which he was superb in. Not as good as that in this film, but he was probably one of the better characters because he did quite a bit of acting. Then there's Domo Gleason, who was great in Ex Machina, but in this film he is just bad. He was the Hux guy, like the like the exaggerated Nazi. That guy that's like all dressed in black and he's just shouting the entire time, like,
Oh, jeez.
oh god, that was bad. But that's all I can really say for non-spoilers. There's probably more stuff we'll get to in spoilers that I probably could mention here, but listen at your own risk. Do you have any last non-spoilery comments?
Yeah, I can't really think of anything, but don't watch this. Like, there's some cameos in here that were completely unnecessary and kill any sort of immersion.
Yeah.
That's kind of a plus,
Yeah,
maybe, if
there
you're
is
like
one
Departed.
big cameo that took me out of the film completely, and I think you know the one I'm talking about.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I know what you're talking about with that one.
Okay, so that's it for that. Now, spoiler warning, we're going into spoilers. Spoilers come at your own risk. So, let's talk about first that first humor scene that I'm calling. I can't call it humor. Where Poe is in his X-wing and he's making fun of Hux. He's like, "Oh, I need to speak to Hux," and Hux actually starts talking. He's like, "No, I meant Hux," and that just keeps going on, and it's just that was cringy. I didn't laugh at that. Did you?
Oh, geez, I didn't really pay much attention to that part. Like, it just seemed like it was useless,
Yeah.
and you could have put like anything else over there, and it would have
Well, that was the
like,
first moment that really pulled me out and said this wasn't Star Wars. Like this humor just doesn't fit here. That was why I bring that because it just was like so out of place.
oh yeah, the people in the theater, they were laughing at that crap. But
Yeah.
honestly, like, it just shows some of the problems with this movie. It's not a Star Wars film. Like,
No.
you can put like lipstick on a pig, but that doesn't mean it's a woman.
That's a
You
great
know?
analogy for this film because there is a woman that is a pig. Well, she's actually a child, and it's the I don't even know the character's name because I don't even remember them mentioning it. That little Asian girl that stumbles on Finn and like falls in love with him and runs around with him to that casino plant. What is her purpose at all?
Oh,
Like
jeez.
she's a
The
child. She
casino
acts so
planet was
silly.
completely useless for the plot of the movie.
No, but it was useless for the SJW stuff.
Like, the only point of the casino planet was to go and say, "Oh well, capitalism, you're terrible.
Yeah.
You want to go and you don't want the government's going to take your money. How dare you? You're racist."
Like I get okay, they were selling weapons to the First Order, the bad guys. Okay, fine, but it's like you saw like then when they run those animals through that town, which is really silly. He's like, oh, I'm just so. Finn was like, I'm so just glad we got to do that to like smash their stuff. Like he literally said somewhat like that. I was like, oh god, that was such a bad bit of dialogue, and she's like, yeah, yeah. She was
Yeah, like,
so goofy.
I don't know why they had to bring like a PETA sort of like
Angle.
angle in the movie. Star Wars isn't supposed to be about that. At least in my experience, it's supposed to be about like stars and wars. There was very little of that.
Yeah, they took out all the themes of like family and well, that's there, but it's not really done right because Ray's just like obsessed with like who her parents are, and it's like why, like who
Oh
cares?
yeah,
Like it
like
doesn't. I don't get why that
I was
matters.
expecting her family to be something more important than
Nobody.
like drunks.
I
That's what her
I think
parents
that
were.
part's a lie in the film. I actually think like he was BSing her, Kylo, when he said that. I think that's not true. They're just misleading you there in kind of a stupid way.
Well, you can't tell with these people
You
though. It's just
can't.
such bad writing. Like, you don't know if it's intentional or like not.
Yeah.
That's the problem with this film. You can't tell when it's being like serious and when it's not. Like, you can joke about that in other Star Wars films, and you might there might be something to it, but for this one, why?
Well, it's like that scene at the end where Luke is, meets Leia, and she goes, "I know what you're gonna say. I've changed my hair." I'm like, and that's kind of funny, but like that was like such a serious scene, and like I don't really think that joke works there. I don't think the writing really understood the tone of this movie. Like, it was definitely more serious, which is good, I think. But like when the jokes came, like in those areas, it's a little out of place, just a little too much.
Like, let's be real. Like, unless you're like a soy boy, what sort of guy would notice that?
I know.
Like,
Even
I
Luke would
really didn't
notice
even
that.
notice it until she pointed out. It's just like something that no one would like notice or care about, but
Yeah,
it's part of the movie.
yeah. So
That's kind of
it's,
like a theme with the whole film. Like, there's just so much like, like I guess they're trying to go and change things up a bit. Oh, like look, we have this black guy. He's the main character. We're very progressive. Yeah,
and
it's
they
just like
treat him like crap. They don't give him a good story here. They don't give him any story. He does nothing. What's the whole point of his storyline? Like he goes off, runs around, and does nothing. It doesn't contribute to anything. Okay, well, like what? He hacked the ship and blew stuff up. Okay, but like, what does that add to this overall story? It's so pointless. Like, what they should have done was cut that part out and extended a lot of the other bits because what I did like about this overall was that it was paced better than The Force Awakens. And disclaimer: I hate The Force Awakens, but this movie did better with the pacing in the sense that it slowed it down a bit. It wasn't run, 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 run to the next action scene, to the next nostalgia bit. Like it slowed it down. You got a little breathe in there a lot. The John Williams music got to play for once. We actually got to hear some music, but um, the problem with that, of course, was that there were no memorable tracks. Like the only tracks I'd be like, oh, there's that song they played in episode 6, or oh, there's that part that they played in episode 4. Like the only memorable music was like stuff we'd already heard before, which is good. Like I don't mind interweaving in there, but like you gotta have memorable new tracks. And I appreciate the music was better, but there wasn't enough new memorable stuff. But like it was just like you have that and so you had to breathe a little more with the music and the pace a little better. But there were parts where it was like a beautiful shot and it just cut away real quick, and I was like, whoa, whoa, that was like too quick. They could have spaced some of it out a bit more, but that was a little disappointing.
well, that was honestly like that was I kind of felt the opposite. Like that was the only good part of the film I thought was the music.
Really?
Like I thought that was like the only redeeming quality, like the only sort of thing that makes it feel like a Star Wars movie is the music.
Yeah, and that was
Everything
what
else.
was missing to me from Force Awakens that made that not feel very Star Warsy was no music. And this had it, which I very much appreciate. And there were good new parts. It's just they're not that memorable. I mean, it may need a few more listens for me because I've like seen the previous films, like the first 6 I've seen millions of times, so maybe that's why it's more embedded in me. But like, there's probably some good music in there that I will remember that's new.
But like the whole concept of the Force has just been like
Oh, it's
turned
fully
up.
effed
Like
up.
it's just gone so ridiculous. Like in the old movies, it wasn't like a major theme of it. It was just kind of it was
It
there.
was a
It was like part
philosophy.
of it, but it was like yeah, it was more like it was basically philosophy. But now it's just become like a Deus Ex Machina. You could go and pull it out your ass, and it can just go and completely change stuff.
Yeah,
Now, when I was with my buddy, he was telling me, "Oh, well, in the video games, they did some guy like destroyed a Star Destroyer with
that
the
was in
Force."
Force Unleashed. I thought that too. Like he took a fucking Star Destroyer, like stopped it from like coming out or like something. He just like stops it. Like yeah, but that video game was like he had like crazy force powers. So
Well, yeah, it's a video game. I wouldn't consider that in the same sort of. I
canon.
wouldn't consider that like I wouldn't consider that canon. And that's like one of the things that I thought was fine when they decided to go and choose what was and what wasn't canon. Because I know some
Yeah.
people stirred out over that.
Oh, they were spurging hard because they're like, oh no, the EU just got nuked. Fuck Disney. Blah blah blah.
Well, like although to be honest,
Like I
like
understand
I
that.
think some of the extended universe was better than this.
Yes,
But
by far.
yeah, that's not very hard to do.
Yeah.
This was just an all around terrible, terrible game or movie.
Game. I wish it was a game. But like when
Yeah,
you mentioned about the Force, like
yeah,
there's,
yeah.
I like how they brought the philosophy back a little bit more because that really wasn't in The Force Awakens. There's like no themes, no philosophy. It's had a little bit of that in the training scene with Luke where, Rey's talking to her and he's like explaining like what the Force is and isn't. And that was good. But then, and you know what scene I'm talking about, was in that fucking Leia scene where she
Yeah,
fucking Mary
that
Poppins her
destroyed
way.
any
Fuck
sort of
that
immersion you can
scene.
get from this.
Yeah, she's like, okay, and she's like floating out into space, floating out into space, and all of a sudden, oh shit, I have the Force now. Never used it before, I'm gonna use it now as a 90-year-old lady. And she flies back into the fucking ship. And then, like, what?
Yeah, and that really pisses me off too because they could have killed her off and it would have been fine
Yeah, that's what I thought they were
because
gonna do.
she's actually like dead IRL,
Yeah.
but they didn't, and they went through such efforts to keep her alive. It's
It was so
you just
stupid.
killed. Like, why? Why would you destroy the movie to go and keep alive a dead actress?
I know, and like the problem was like when she first, flies out of that spaceship and they cut around to other stuff. Like I at first thought, wait, she just died. Like I felt no emotion from that. Like it was just nothing. I was like, that was poorly done. And then she's alive, and I'm just like, what? Like there was no joy because you gotta build up the sadness, then you then build up the joy. Like they didn't do that. And what pissed me off, starting from that scene, was all these scenes where the main character would be close to death. You think they're dead, and then they're miraculously alive. Like they did that so many times. These close death scenes. First it was with Leia. Then there was the one with Rey when you thought Kylo was going to kill her, but that doesn't really happen. And then there's the one with Finn. At the end when they're on that like salt flats planet, and like he's flying toward the ice, the
You
giant
know that.
weapon, and then he gets saved. It's like what they did that like so many times. I got so tired of it. I'm like, stop. Just and they did with Luke too. But that was some bullshit we're gonna get to, where you thought he was dead too. Fuck. Like there's so many scenes where you think the character's dead, but they're not. Just they gotta stop that.
Yeah, they just really don't want to kill off the characters, and that's not good story writing.
Yeah, it's
I'm
like,
sorry,
well,
that.
kill him off, or like, they save themselves. Just don't do it so many times. Yeah,
Like
okay,
that.
keep
Yeah,
going.
that just got on my nerves when they did that.
Yeah.
Like there was a lot of things on screen that got on my nerves, but like just the crazy amount of like near death scenes in this movie.
Yep,
It just
exactly.
killed. It just killed everything.
Yep.
Like any sort of immersion in there, it's gone.
Yeah, 'cause you
It's
get
not
taken
coming
out of the
back.
movie, and there's no tension. No more tension, 'cause you know they're going to get saved.
It's not like a Star Wars movie. It's just like like a generic like I've never seen Guardians of the Galaxy, but it probably felt more like that than I did Star Wars
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
there
there
was
was like yeah, it was kind of like I haven't seen Guardians. I've only seen parts of it, but I could see what you're saying. I had some '80s music, and yeah, you have some '80s actors, put some '80s music in there. Um,
like mm, all in all, I just and the choose like why did they go and choose another like desolate planet to
yep.
use like and not like they did that with Hoth in the original ones, but now they're doing it with this. Like really?
Yeah, that's where I'm gonna rant on now is the unoriginal BS in this movie. Okay, so say what you will about the prequels, say what you will. I personally like them, but we at least agree they did some original crap? New planets, new characters, new droids, new animals. Like it was completely new. A lot of things, and there's some old stuff. The Force
Point.
Awakens, the biggest problem was it was a total copy of A New Hope. Desert planet, hop onto a forest planet, and then hop onto a snow planet. Oh my God, have we not seen this before? It's like, and then they bring all the old characters back, all the old ships back. Everything looked like it was the same. It was basically a retro movie. And this film did better than I have to give him credit. There's some original stuff, like that plant Luke's on. That's a pretty cool plant. I like that. That was really nice. It was very, it had a cool atmosphere, cool look to it. Some really cool shots of cool sky. That was cool. And but the casino plant was new-ish, but that was already in Star Wars: The Old Republic. They have a casino plant. It's actually cooler. But that plant, you're only on there for a few seconds. There's only that one shot inside the casino where you get some world building, but that's it. Like they don't really build the world of this new planet, and that stuff should have been cut out anyway. And then there's the Salt Flats planet. You expect to see some like cars like race on there at any second. I mean, it like that was yeah, it was another desolate planet with fucking AT-ATs again. Oh my God, but this time they're a little different looking. Oh, how original. Now it was cool when the ships start going down and you see like that red stuff. Like that looked really cool because that's some cool effects where like the red stuff would blow up, and then you'd see a character reveal or something like that. Like that was kind of cool, but it didn't make sense that the ships like needed like to skid on it or something. Like, huh? It
Yeah,
didn't make
I still
sense.
don't understand that. I saw that when I was playing Battlefront 2. Like, let's say what you will about Battlefront 2. At least it was a Battlefront game. Like, at least it was a first-person shooter.
Yeah.
Like, Battlefront 2, for all of the greed that EA has, is still better than the Force or the Last
I'm
Jedi.
surprised the fucking
Like,
loot box didn't drop down in the movie on that planet. I was like, no.
yeah, too. And what I really don't understand in the casino scene, they go and trash capitalism. Like, oh, like look, there's all these
Literally.
greedy people. Oh, they treat animals terrible. They're terrible people if you're a capitalist and you go to a casino. Well, add on to that, they have these little porg guys, and they're basically like these sort of like pugs combined with penguin. Like, with
Oh, those fuckers. Oh my
yeah,
god.
they keep popping up. The only
Out of
reason
nowhere.
they pop up so much is it's merchandising.
Yeah.
Like they have the Ewoks in like the original Star Wars, but the thing with the
But they
Ewoks,
were a
it actually
character.
makes sense because it sort of shows the conflict between technology and like nature, and that's kind of
Yeah,
what Star
true.
Wars is about. If you think about it, you
That's
have
good. That's a good thing I never picked up on. Wow.
you have the Alliance, the Imperials, and they're all like super, and like even the older ones too. You had the droids, and then
Yeah.
you had the humans, and that it's kind of one of those themes that you would probably miss it if you're not looking for it, but it kind of pops up again and again. But the Ewoks, yeah, they were cute and cuddly, and they had, well, I won't really call them cute, but they're merchandise bait, but at least they serve a purpose.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
with the Porgs, they do nothing. I think I read something that the only reason they did that was because they didn't feel like editing out the birds on the island that Luke was in. And there's
Oh.
another thing too that pissed me off on that island. Like, there's just like a scene where Luke Skywalker is like milking this thing. I don't even know what
I
these
don't know
things
what
were.
it was.
Explain it. He's just like it looks disgusting. It's I guess this might go in the feminist narrative of like breastfeeding in public or
Yes.
something. Like that's the only thing I can kind of like see it like to represent. But even then, that makes me want to not breastfeed in public. It's disgusting. It's like yeah, like picture like an old hobo or something, like a fat guy on like that bus, and he's just like pulls up his titty and you like milk him, and it kind of like look like that, like this disgusting land like sloth beast was just sitting over there, and Luke just goes and like milks it, and
Yeah,
then
just
just
grabs
drinks the
those
milk.
nips.
Yeah, like what is that? Why do we need that in Star Wars?
Yeah, I get
I
it was
couldn't
supposed to
even
be a
grasp that.
funny scene, but it just wasn't funny.
Like it served no purpose. It was just there. Like they, that's not what Star Wars is supposed to be about. It should at least if you only have a certain amount of time in a movie to go and convey a story,
Yeah.
and every scene should have some sort of consequence. But like they don't go into this like like what's going on. And those little people in the Luke Skywalker's like hometown, I was like, what the heck are they?
Yeah, they
Like
just came out of
I
nowhere
kind of want.
too. You didn't see them before until Ray shoots the gun and they're like, repairing like that or looking at the house that got shot. Like they just came out of nowhere. Like
I
that's
mean, the
what's
Force
poor is
Awakens
the
looked like in the Force Awakens it looked like he was just on a desolate planet. Like there
yeah.
was nothing in there. But then, they have these birds and they have, these giant creatures that, you milk them. And you would have thought you would have seen them because these guys are big. Like, it's not like a little small like Chewbacca sized thing. This is
It's one
like
big
a
ass
like a
motherfucker.
elephant sized guy just like chilling out on the side of a cliff. And then Luke milks
It's the
it.
elephant man.
Yeah, it's disgusting. You would have seen it.
Yeah,
And
it's
I guess maybe it was supposed to be funny, but I didn't really think it was funny. I just thought it was stupid.
yeah, it was. Cause like the problem is this film had a chance to world build. The Force Awakens did terrible at no world building. This had like the opportunity with these new planets, and they just didn't do it. There's only one shot that did it, and that was when they're in the casino, which is a useless storyline, and that camera just kind of like, in a real cool shot, just kind of like glides through the whole casino scene. It keeps going, 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 going. That's a nice little long shot, and you got to see like the activities they were doing, and had some kind of like cantina band type music. As it was going through the casino and seeing all like the critters and all that stuff. That was cool, but it was like one shot, and then boom, nothing else. Like, all right, back to running around doing stupid stuff. But like, yeah, on that island, it's just like the creatures came out of nowhere. That fucking island, like it's this like island on the middle of nowhere in this planet like of water, and they're like these critters just come out of nowhere. And like I
Yeah,
will say, oh sorry, continue.
like what would you have on that like little desolate island that could feed that sort of like megafauna? Like, what
Yeah.
is that thing like feeding off a fish? And I mean, there was like a giant harpoon thing that makes you wouldn't. That's not practical.
No,
Like you
he's
get
like all the
like
way up here with this giant pole that he's able to lift. You see that with Luke, he like lifts that like spear and like gets a fish. How the fuck does he do that?
I mean, I guess he has the force. I mean, he can go and like astral project on the different planets with the force. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was probably one of the most stupidest scenes. Like, and it is basic. It's just like the Battle of Hoth. They have a desolate planet. It's like all
The
white, with the
AT-ATs.
exception of and they have giant AT-ATs, but no, they're different. They're gorilla AT-ATs. Like,
Oh
what the heck's the
fuck.
difference? Like, go on these like like rankedy ass skimmer things in the desert sand, and they go and shoot at things. And another thing too, we had this feminist character, like third
Oh
wave.
fuck.
She has like purple hair, like it's a stereotypical feminist.
Yep.
Like, what is she like? She just pissed me off the moment I saw her. She just like she had these weird vibes with like Leia. I mean, I don't think it was
Ooh.
lesbian,
I don't
but
know,
I just
man.
think
The
it's
way she grabbed her hand right before she went on that ship and made the captain goes down for a ship scene. The way they were touching. Ooh, I don't know.
but no, she like had the hots for what was it, the
Poe,
Poe,
the
and she
troublemaker.
kind of liked him.
I figured she would, because it's like it's always that feminists like always hate people they secretly have a crush on. It's like that Katie Tur with Trump. She always bitches about Trump, but the way she looks at Trump, she's like gooing inside, like oh my god, that Donald. It's like I know, like you could tell feminists wrote this shit, and that fucking character, like you said, the moment she opened her fucking mouth, I hated that bitch. I was like, no. Oh god. All she did was act like a stuck up bitch, gave stupid orders, got everybody killed while Poe, my boy Poe, who I actually liked a lot more in this movie, he's being cool and having fun, wants to blow stuff up, and he just like he took command there because like she was being a dumbass, and he actually knew what he was doing.
Well, the thing was, like, she had this like stupid plan of like taking the ship all the way out to until they can't do it anymore, and then like releasing it like the other ships.
Yeah.
And that was, I think, and she wouldn't tell anyone else. Like, why? Was there like a
Because
worry that there
she's
were
a
spies?
strong,
Like,
independent woman and no man's
like
gonna tell her what to do.
you could tell that everyone else was kind of like pissed off. He
Yeah.
mentioned it multiple times. He could have been like, "Oh, well, see, here's the plan." Like, are they spies?
Yeah, why didn't
Like,
she tell anybody her plan? That made
is she
no
afraid of
sense.
spies? Like, is
Yeah.
that the problem?
Well, there was
And then
no
what
suggestion
happens?
of that, like, oh, there's a spy. Like, if that would have been a cool storyline they could have had. Take out the Finn crap and put in, like, there's, like, a mole. That would have made that interesting and made more sense.
Oh, and then, well, I mean, technically there was kind of a mole. Like the arms dealer guy, I think he ended up selling them.
Yeah,
Like, he
which
was a I'm
kind
not
of.
sure though.
But I
Like,
don't see what that didn't make sense was again. There's a lot of scenes in this movie that felt like they were cut out. Like, like at first I thought, how did Luke get to that island? Well, we find out later, and we'll talk about that bullshit later. Like, there's a lot of parts where I'm like, and then Rey, she escapes that island on the Millennium Falcon and
burglar
finds
guy.
Luke. How did she get there? There's a part then where
I thought
uh,
that was from the last movie where they find Luke. Like that was the whole thing,
no,
wasn't it?
no, no. I mean, sorry, I meant find Luke on the desolate planet, the Salt Flats planet. I don't know how she found the peoples there. Oh, it's because that's where Kylo was. I mean, I guess that kind of makes sense, but
Yeah, they. Well, the thing was, the desolate planet. It was like an abandoned base, and they bunkered down, fortified the position, and waited until they're gonna get their ass kicked.
Yeah, and they just
But
happened to find that plane. Like they didn't explain how they got there; just got there. All the
well, no,
river.
the feminist person kind of said like, oh, there's this plan here. Like that was her like stupid plan
Oh, I must have
was to
stopped
go
listening to
like,
her at that point.
oh, I don't blame you, but like, no, that whole plan was just stupid. Because she should have stopped, like she should have explained it, like to him, like even take him aside and be like, "Hey, this is what the plan is," and stuff. Like, oh no. And the thing was, they ended up getting tracked anyways, because that was the whole thing. Because there was a tracker
Yeah.
in their ship somewhere, and they tried to go and disable the tracking device from the. They like tried like they who was it who was on there? The Asian girl? Was it the Finn?
Are you
Was
saying
it
the
the Asian
tracker
girl?
that Ray gave him? Because I think that makes sense in how Ray knew where they were on that desolate planet. Was that what you're talking about? That little flashy thing?
Well, no, there was a tracker they put on the on like the Imperials put a tracker on their ship.
Yeah, that didn't make. I didn't understand that because they could track them through light speed, and they never,
Yeah,
from
like
what I remember,
how would
explained
that work?
how.
Light speed. Yeah, that whole thing, like whatever concepts. Because I kind of thought they phased in out of like reality, like it was like they go into a wormhole or something, but apparently not. Apparently, just go really fast, which is really stupid because they end up doing this like like kamikaze 9/11 attack. That's the feminist like that's her last farewell. She goes and light speeds into
That
the
ugly ship.
giant like smoke ship,
Yeah.
and and she just like instantly destroys it with like
Yeah.
a
Just by
ship
cutting
that's
it in
like
half.
1/100th the size of it. Like, how would that even work? Like, if that was the case in the Clone Wars, the droids would just go and buy the smallest thing they can get and fit a hyperdrive into it, and just like ram all the capital ships, and they would have probably won.
Yeah.
Like, how can you
Again,
do?
why didn't they do that before in all these other movies?
I shoot, like it's just complete immersion breaking because why they would have been able to like get a really big like if they could have hijacked the Star Destroyer they could have blew up the Death Star with this sort of logic,
Yes.
just like hyperspace into it because what is it if they're going faster than the speed of light, and if that's what I kind of got from it.
Yeah, that's
You
basically it.
if you hit anything you're going faster than the speed of light, you just like obliterate it,
Yeah.
you beat the shit out of it, but like they could have destroyed the Death Star
Yeah.
easily. They wouldn't have had to go and worry about like they could just have one guy sacrifice himself, and that the what you call it, the alliance or resist the alliance, the old one could have just like had a bunch of suicide bombers.
Yeah, they could just kamikaze with remote, like drones basically, and just kamikaze the shit out of stuff in one. So yeah, that was pretty stupid. Because again, the whole problem of this movie, I thought, one of the biggest problems was the illogicalness. Because,
Oh
excuse me, because that
yeah.
would just pull you out of the movie.
Oh shit! In the first couple minutes, like they're having this like bomber ship come up, and one, this doesn't make any sense. There's a bomber ship in space, but it looks like the bombs are lined up, and it's supposed to use gravity to drop the
How?
bombs.
Yeah, how's that work in space?
Yeah, that doesn't like I don't see how that would work.
That's a big flaw right there. I actually didn't, because there was like that also scene where like Poe is in his X-wing at the beginning, and he does like a power slide basically, and he like almost like stops and then like changes direction. I'm like, dude, you would have just kept going. It's like the
Well,
physics
yeah,
didn't make
if he
any
would have been able to
sense.
stop, he would have like ended up. You can't go and do drifting in a spacecraft. That just wouldn't work.
Yeah, I
It's
mean, it
just
looked cool, but it made no sense. And those bombs, yeah, that made no sense that they like relied on gravity. And that was actually it took me out of that cool scene where like she's like lying on the ground there and she's like kicks the thing, the remote falls down. Like there was like a good shot, like a close up there. But then it just like you get taken out of all this kind of good stuff by shit like that. And like what's the point of that fucking like necklace that they kept touching? Like what did that even mean?
it was like the really annoying like self-insert character. It's like two halves of a whole. It's like a yin yang symbol. But no, no, no. Here's what really pissed me off. So at the beginning, they go and like they're bombing. They're doing a bombing run on a dreadnought from the First Order,
Yeah.
and their dreadnought doesn't have shields. Like what?
It never has shields when the plot requires it.
Like they had them like later on in the film, they had Snoke ship covered in shields. I don't know if it was like a cost saving measure, but why would you have a cost saving
Budget
measure like
cuts.
that on a capital ship?
Yeah.
Like it's bigger than a Star Destroyer. Why would you think it'd be a smart idea not to put shields on it?
Yeah, I know. That's always been a problem. It's like they just like, oh, we the shields are down, or oh, we don't have shields now, or oh, why does this ship have shields? It's like, well, fucking hell. Like, I get like there's ships that can be upgraded that have shields, like it's made it more expensive. Like these big ass ships, like have it when the plot requires it, and they don't have it when the plot requires it.
Like no, if you're gonna have it built like a Star Destroyer sort of size ship,
You're gonna have shield.
you're going to want to put shields on it because, or else what you just saw happen. Like maybe like they need to explain that somewhere. And two, like wasn't there a scene where they were like in like a stealth mode or something?
I don't think so.
Maybe I got
You're
I got
thinking
something.
like from like maybe Clone Wars, because there was shit like that in Clone Wars.
Or
But
like they had something where they couldn't be detected, like in the Millennium Falcon, but then they did. I don't
oh
know.
yeah, there was that part. Yeah, that didn't make any sense either. Where
Like how
like,
can you just
because they were
like
trying
once you
to,
always scan for like it was like scan for invisible objects, and they just decided to go and do that. Wouldn't you incorporate that in your regular scan?
yeah, because
You
like,
know?
like what they were trying to do was like board Snoke's ship, and they did like this thing where like the guy like hacked into the stuff. Benny Del Toro would hack into it so they could like slip past it, and like Ray just magically goes in there because she has like a small like coffin like ship like fits in like. Yeah, that never makes any sense. But in there, when they get into the fucking Snoke's ship, you have this like you had this kind of cool like back and forth between Rey and Kylo, but that still didn't make sense because I didn't know you could talk with the Force. But then when they get to the Snoke scene, um, you know, predictably Kylo kills Snoke, and it's predictable because it's the fucking same thing that happens in Episode 6. It's a complete copy. Oh, here's the good guy who's trying to bring the good out in her bad relative. The bad relative's conflicted, and he kills his master. And they even fucking repeat the same line. Snoke says, "Complete your training and fulfill your destiny," or something like that. Like that's the same shit Palps was saying in fucking Episode 6. I'm like, oh my god, like that took me out of it. Cause I was like, what is this? And then the training scenes, like kind of Episode 5y, where she's training with a
But the
Yoda-like
thing is,
guy.
here's what really upset me. It took Luke like forever to go and train to go and like learn the Force. Like it took him a
Yeah,
long time.
yeah.
But then that she does it like in like not even like 3 lessons,
Yeah, she
and
does
then she's
no
able to
training. She
go
didn't
and
even do complete her third lesson, I think.
she's able to go and beat Luke Skywalker in like a I guess like a stick fight. You know, there's like whacking each other with like objects.
Yeah.
Like how? And then too, they like the
Such
way they characterize Luke Skywalker is just like completely opposite of what he was in the previous movies. You know, he
which is
was.
fine to an extent because it's like, oh, he because of all the shit that's happened with Kylo and all that, which still was
Oh no no no
unclear.
no! The whole thing with Kylo.
Yeah, that doesn't like what's the story there? Like I think is that the purpose like you don't know what really happened because like they show like Kylo's point of view of it was he was trying to kill me, he had like his lightsaber up like he was about to kill him. Whereas Luke is like, the thought crossed my mind, but then like I was just happened to be holding the lightsaber at the wrong time and Kylo raged on me.
Well, no no. What happened was Luke was about to go. Like he was contemplating killing him. Kylo sees it. Like the old Luke wouldn't have even done that. Like he tried to spare Darth Vader.
That's true. That's true. Because that's
Like
what he did
that's
with
just
Darth Vader.
and Darth Vader killed. Like this was before Kylo Ren started killing people. Like this is just absurd for Luke Skywalker. Even Mark Hamill got pissed off about that because it's BS.
Yeah, yeah, that's completely out of character the more I think about it, because it's like he would have done the same thing he did to Darth Vader, which was see the good in him and bring that out. Like, why would he do what he, try to kill basically a child? Like, fuck.
And that too, like Kylo Ren, he said something. He was like, "You gotta destroy the past, kill it if you have to," something like that, right?
Sounds like feminist.
Yeah, it's just like it reminds me of the feminists like destroying the statues. Like
Yes.
that's kind of like what this movie's about.
He's
Like
an
it's like
emo
a hidden
feminist.
feminist plot.
Yeah.
They're like, go destroy the past. Every sort of thing from before this modern era. You just gotta eliminate.
Yeah.
Like all the flags, all the statues, everything. That's we can't go and have the past. Everything of Western civilization's got to go make way for the blue-haired feminists.
Yes. Purple haired in this case.
Yeah, purple hair, like that's it's just I guess they're trying to go be topical, but if you want a movie that can stand the test of time, like the original Star Wars, and even the Clone Wars, now like the more get older, the more I actually appreciate the Clone Wars.
Clone Wars
Like
is
that,
good shit. That
like
was a
those,
good show.
like no, like those sort of like those era movies, like episodes
Oh,
one, two, three.
that was yeah. The
They're-
prequels are good in my view. I had problems with it, but they're good. Cause like you look back and yeah, comparing it to this shit. Cause this movie tries to do a lot and it just doesn't complete it. And then it changes all the rules. Like and then I want to get on a couple more big things because like I mentioned this, Benedict Del Toro is a big actor that's only in it for a few minutes, but he's actually in it longer than the others. They get fucking Andy Serkis, who did fucking Gollum from Lord of the Rings, who's an amazing motion capture actor, and they just kill him off so quickly. In this movie, he's in there for like a few minutes, says some like, you know, good acting, but like dialogue we've already heard before, and he gets killed off quickly. Like
Which one is he? What's this
he's
person?
Snoke. He's Snoke.
Oh, yeah, that pissed me off.
That
Like
character has no
they
purpose.
didn't go into his backstory at all. Like they didn't say who he was. Apparently, he has some crazy force powers where he can like interlink, like Harry Potter and Voldemort sort of like interlinkage. That's not exactly what it was. That's kind of what I
Is
thought.
that wait? That was all his doing. That Kylo and Rey could talk with the Force because of him.
Yeah, he did that on purpose.
That's what I kind of he implied when he said like when he brought Rey in and he said something like this is exactly what I planned or something like that. That's what I kind of got, but it didn't quite click, and it was just like, well, since when could the Force do that? And like who why can he do it? It just didn't make sense because he's just Snow character comes out of nowhere, just comes out of nowhere. Like I said, no backstory, nothing, and he has a little bit of a purpose here, but he's still kind of a waste of a character and a waste of a good actor.
Well, see, with the Emperor, they like had character development for 3 movies.
Yeah,
But with Snoke, they had like two, and even of that, like in the old one, you didn't know who Snoke was until like the very end. I kind of like he was just like a floating head. And this
yep,
one, he gets killed off, relatively quickly. In the old one, it was 3 episodes. He got killed at the very end of the last episode,
yeah,
and that's upsetting. And they already like took off Kylo's mask in the old one in the first episode, so it's just like, what? What's going on over here?
yeah. Yeah, and his mask is so, like. Did you notice also when he talked with his mask, I could barely understand what he said. Like I understood it enough, but it was just like it was kind of like shitty audio. Like what was that about?
I don't know. Like, here's what I kind of like. I guess that you could kind of think of episode like the old Star Wars that you could kind of say that was like World War II. The Imperials were based off the Nazis. Like, actually, that's what they did.
Yeah,
And then I guess you have Kylo, and I guess you could describe Kylo as like one of those like Nazi larpers, like the alt right sort of thing.
yes.
That's what the First Order basically is. And then on the exact opposite, you have the hashtag resistance. It's like Antifa, basically. That's kind of what I'm getting from this movie. It's trying to be topical with it. You can see, he has he's like the mask. That'd be the equivalent of like wearing like a Hitler mustache, basically. And that's kind of like what I'm starting to go and see them try to go and do. And
Kylo Ren is a larper. Make
yeah, he
that fucking
basically is.
hashtag.
He's like a Nazi larper. That's basically the character. Like, he's not like his dad, or like it'd be like one of those guys. He was going to be Adolf Hitler, but like he's one of those like one of those stormy guys, and he goes and like shaves his head bald. He probably does drugs.
Fashy
Like,
haircut.
no, it'd be like one of those guys, like the old skinheads that go and do drugs and get sent to prison, but they still want to be like Hitler, even though if he was actually if they were alive during the Nazi regime, they would have been like thrown in a concentration camp.
Yeah, he's probably got a fucking imperial tattoo somewhere on him, like a Nazi
Yeah,
tattoo.
like they try so hard to make them like the Nazis,
I know it
but,
looks a little silly because it's
but
too
obviously they're
much.
not, because they have Poe, the black stormtrooper.
They have diversity.
Yeah, I guess it's trying to be like the alt. I guess maybe it's like the alt light or something.
What?
Like where you have like like some of that weird stuff. That's kind of what they're trying to go and do, because you can see the feminist haircut. All of the women, like all the hashtag resistance had on their like command structure was women.
Yeah.
You had blue haired or purple haired girl. You had
Being a
Princess
bitch.
Leia,
Yeah, being a
and you
bitch
can
too.
see they were like utterly incompetent.
I know. That looked
Like maybe
really
you got like a
bad. That
red
looked
pill
really
message,
bad.
but on the other, like even though like the the Stormfronty guys, they're pretty incompetent too. Like
Yeah.
who was his like second in command was
Hux.
absolutely terrible, and Kylo has like a bunch of problems, but he could still beat them. Like he was still, and like at the end, they're losing horribly. The hashtag resistance, it's
Yeah.
just getting lost, and they're destroying all the old characters. All like they killed Han Solo in the last one. They're gonna go and kill Princess Leia. They're
Yeah.
killing the old, and
Gotta cut their
that's
paychecks out. But you know what's stupid though is that what I never felt, which because there are parallels to Empire Strikes Back here, obviously. But Empire Strikes Back, when they lose that Battle of Hoth, you feel like they lost bad. And there's like moments in that film where you feel like they lost bad, especially when Luke gets his arm chopped off. But there's always still hope in the end. In this movie, they lose a few ships at the beginning. We'll move on. They lose, some other people. There's no like emotional impact of them losing. Like they lost shit here. It's always just like, oh well, move
oh
on.
yeah, absolutely. And the whole character of Rey, I think she was terrible. Like
Oh,
I
such a
think
Mary
like you
Sue.
say that she's good character development. I say absolutely not. They just make her like super great at everything.
Yeah, I know
She's
she can
like
do
the
anything.
ideal, like it's the like the philosophical feminist, like the strong women. Like the one that you see on the like those army, like Rosie the Riveter sort of girl.
Yeah,
That's what they're like creating. Because
it's
she's like better than Luke Skywalker in terms of the Force strength,
which is bullshit.
and then they go and try showing like, oh well, see the First Order is just a bunch of men, like white people and men, and
Yeah.
oh, they're terrible.
Well, did you even notice there's one funny scene that took me out of the movie in a funny way was when Snoke says to Kylo, he's like, Ray beat you, and she didn't have any training, and she just used, no, he said, Ray beat you, and this is the first time she ever used a lightsaber. I was like, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that's the problem. That's not something you should be bringing attention to. That's
Yeah. I
I
was
guess
like,
they're
was
trying
that a
to say
jab
that
at
he's
J.J.
like this,
Abrams there? Like, what
like
the
really
fuck?
incompetent LARPer. Like
Yeah.
that's basically who I picture as Kylo Ren. He tries to be this like super strong, like like alt right like guy, and they try very hard to go make that what it is.
I
They're all
know.
they don't have fashy haircuts, but they have stormtrooper outfits.
Yeah, Stormtrooper.
It's all like the white men, and it's like all like they have the jack boots.
Yeah.
It's like they're trying to go and do that, and I know that's what they're trying to do. I'm pretty sure they're one of the directors like said it's like that's what they're trying to go and do. That's like not what the original Star Wars. Yeah, to a certain extent, but it was also just about like genuine good versus genuine evil.
Yeah. And that was a
It's
bit
more
they
about
play with.
technology and versus like versus nature, and
And they.
that's kind of true in their like ideology. Like the Jedi,
Yeah,
they were in tune with nature, and the
true.
Sith, they were in tune with power. They do whatever it takes. They're full of emotion, and you'd think that like that. No wonder Rey wants to be towards the dark side because she is like a super
Yeah,
feminist,
but
and
that
that
made no
they run off of
sense.
emotion, and that's why she is like that's why she got accused of being towards the dark side.
Yeah, why'd she all suddenly get this draw for the dark side? Like, I understand, like, it tempts you and all that, but, like, she was like, ooh, this dark shit. Ooh, I
Well,
like
no,
it.
because she's like super like feminist, and feminists rely on emotion, and
Yeah,
emotion is forbidden for Jedi to have.
yeah, that's true. Which is
That's
smart.
why.
Now, yeah, and I was gonna mention one quick thing, then I gotta mention that fucking bullshit at the ending. There's like these lot bits of unnecessary dialogue that took me out. Like I don't know if it bothered you much, but you know where like Finn is fighting Captain Phasma, which is that like shiny stormtrooper, and
Yeah,
like he falls down. You obviously know he's not dead. So there's another moment where the character, he thought was dead but isn't. He pops up and he goes, "Hey," and then whacks her over the head. That was the stupidest line of dialogue in that movie by far. It didn't need to be there because you already see him come up in the background. They should have just
yeah.
had him come up and then whack her. That would have been cool. The visuals tell the story. You don't need this, hey. It was so stupid. I was like, oh man.
And shoot, what's the point of having lightsabers if you could just have bayonets that do the same thing?
Yeah, that makes again new tech makes no sense.
Like I thought that was stupid in the old one. In this one, like he just like kills Phasma instantly with the bayonet.
Yeah,
Like
that was
no,
just lying around. Like he just picks it up out of nowhere.
yeah. Well, it's just on like I think it was on a gun. It was like it's
Was
a bayonet on a gun.
oh
I thought that's what it was. Like it
maybe.
wasn't the last movie. Like they had those bayonets that could deflect lightsabers, which was stupid.
Yeah, I don't understand that at all.
Like
Now,
they should have had. And then too, another thing that pissed me off. Like cameos.
oh, how could I
The first
forget?
one I know, like the first one, that was really stupid. Admiral Akbar just kind of gets like killed
Yeah, what
and
the fuck?
like off screen. They don't even give him like a death on screen.
Yeah,
Like, nope, he's dead.
yeah. They just announced it. I'm like, oh, he died. Oh, gee, thanks. Like
Like,
you
shoot.
kind of see it when because he's on the bridge where Leia gets blown up, I think, but you don't know that, and they just kind of like announce it like this is like a cool side character people like, and they just kill him off.
Yeah, they could have at least shown it. Like, even if
Yeah.
it's just him being blown up, done something to give some form of closure. And another thing too, they have a Yoda. He makes an
Oh,
appearance.
fucking hell.
Why do they need to bring back Yoda? They really like just that much into fan service. There's
If
no useful point. And then like there was some stupid subplot with the Jedi, like the Jedi books, which
yeah,
I
and
don't
he
think they ever
burns
mentioned.
down the bloody tree with all of them in it.
With Force lightning, how does he have that ability? Like
Yeah, since
that's a
when could
simple thing.
ghosts interact with the world? The whole point was is that they could talk to you, but they couldn't like do anything other than that. They just kind of advise you.
Well, yeah, apparently they don't have that restriction anymore. So that's Force powers just going like ridiculously out of place.
And the CGI of that Yoda, holy fuck, did that
Yeah,
look
that was
bad?
bad.
Like,
Like in the Clone War, like in their prequels, he actually looked pretty decent in CGI, and then in the video games, it looked decent. But this, it was like it was a CGI of a puppet.
it looks so bad. That took me out of it. Like, the close up looked good, but the shot where it's like a medium shot where he's like on that rock, I was like, what am I looking at? What is this?
Like, is this a CGI of a puppet? Because it's just not normal.
Yeah, it looks so bad.
Like, no, that was bad. He can use the like special force powers after he's dead. Then, the death of Luke.
Oh, that's the big thing we need to hit on. Yeah. Fuck that bullshit.
He just disappears. He like astral projects onto another planet, and then he just like okay, he just disappears.
That was the only shock in the film. The only surprise I actually felt was that when Kylo goes to cut him up, slice him in half, and he's still there. I was like, shit. How? What's happening? Like that was actually an interesting moment. But then, but then, you find out it's a fucking Force ghost. And I kind of guessed. I'm like, oh, is it a ghost?
No,
And
it wasn't. He was astral projecting using the force
yeah, which doesn't make any sense. When could you do that before? When? And actually, like, his
onto
lightsaber
another
could hit.
planet.
Yeah, it made no. Well, actually, his lightsaber didn't hit because he kept dodging everything. I'm like, since when could they do that? When?
It's I guess it's the same time where you can go and like fly in space, and like not die in like the near 0 degree environment.
Yeah,
Like
and
I still don't understand how that happened.
it makes no sense. And then he dies from it because I guess because the Force, drains so much energy from him. Blah blah blah. Okay, but he just disappears and like for no reason why he disappeared. Like when his body just died because they usually like burn these fuckers. Like remember in Episode
No,
One they burned
I guess
Qui
it's
Gon.
like trying to allude that he became one with the Force like Yoda did. I think in Episode 6.
Oh, that
But
makes
that's
sense.
but still,
But it doesn't.
still, I don't think so because he still had a lot of troubled emotions.
Yeah, it
Like I don't
wasn't
think he could
exactly
become
like
one with the Force. He wasn't at peace. He was in very much conflict, and
yeah.
that doesn't make any sense. Like you have to be at peace, and he wasn't. Like Yoda was, but
True.
Luke wasn't. He should have just died.
Yeah, and like, here's the other problem with that. It's like, well, first of all, like, there'd be no way for him to get to that planet other than to do this astral projection bullshit, which is total bullshit. Like, I can't believe they actually did that. But when the biggest, problem with that was that there was no lightsaber battle in this film. There really wasn't. There was that bit with like Rey and Kylo didn't even fight. They just beat up a bunch of guards.
Yeah, and
There
that
was
was
no
stupid
lightsaber
too. They end up
battles in a
fighting on their
Star
own.
Wars
They both
movie.
fought with each other, like
Yeah,
on the same side for like what was it like 5-10 minutes?
yeah,
Like that's just like no. And then after that, they just go immediately to try killing each other. Like no, no. Kylo would have just tried to go and kill her. He
yeah. It was
probably would.
stupid.
He killed his own mom. He would kill her.
Yeah, why does
Definitely.
he have feelings for her? That doesn't make any sense.
Like are they a lot like brother and sister or
They
something?
want fuck, man. They
Oh,
want to get
I won't be
down and do it.
surprised. I won't be surprised. They just want to go and steal all sorts of crap from the old movies up. Gotta be brother and sister, even though they said that her parents were like drug addicts or something, which may or may not be true.
Well, I think
Again,
she had like she might have been born like in that Jedi temple that like Luke destroys and rage, or no, the Kylo. No, was it Luke? I don't even understand. Who rage quits and like fucking like destroys that new temple. Like she might have been born somewhere there, born with Han or something. But like and like this movie did like because that reminded me like they do a lot of cool shots, um, by doing shit that doesn't make sense. Like they do shit that doesn't make sense so they can have this cool shot. Like when fucking Luke dies, they have that shot where like the robe is just sitting there and then it blows away. Like that was
well,
cool, but it made no fucking sense because they
I
do it.
think if it was one of Han or Leia's kids, they would have noticed. They would have been like, "Oh, hey, it's Rey."
Yeah, when they know
The
that they
long
had a
lost
kid,
kid. So it wasn't from then. Was it like one of Luke's kids? But then
maybe.
I don't think Luke would be the type to do that. He was like really into that Jedi stuff, and that was like rule number one. Especially seeing after what happened to his father,
Yeah,
he probably wouldn't be kind of like keen to have kids. And who would he?
yeah. Who
You
would he
know,
fuck? Leia.
he's like I don't know. Like, and then too, they had like who is it? That like weird, like kind of like the bartender from the old one with the
Mm.
funny eyes.
Oh yeah, that was so stupid. Like, what was the point of that? It was
She
just a
was in
quick
there
little
for like
like, oh,
a
remember
phone
this
call.
character?
She was on a phone call about a union dispute in the bar.
Yes.
Like that was the most stupid thing. Like I guess it's kind of red pilling because it shows you what happens when you have
Unions.
problems with unions, and it kind of goes against their whole narrative of the casino planet. So I
Yeah.
guess maybe they tried to. I mean, it was mostly like an attempt at comedy. I thought kind of fell flat.
Yeah, I didn't
But
laugh. I didn't laugh. I only laughed like a little bit at the end of this film. Like I forget. I even forget where I laughed. But it was during that like Hoth carbon copy Salt Flats thing. That was the best part of the movie. Everything else was like, oh no. And the very last thing I want to throw in here is that ending. The tacked on ending that was so stupidly
oh,
tacked on, that was so short, made no sense, was when that little kid is like playing like this is Luke Skywalker, blah blah blah, and the guy comes in, rages on them on the casino planet. He walks out and he sees like a shooting star that's a Millennium Falcon like flying, and he like holds the broom like he has a lightsaber and he's staring out in there. Kind of like that binary sunset scene, like in episode 4 almost, where Luke's staring at the two suns, on Tatooine. What
oh
the
yeah, and
fuck was the point of that
he goes
scene?
and takes out his little rebel.
Yes, right.
Like what's gonna happen? Is episode 9 gonna be like 20 years in the future,
Yeah,
and he ends
what's
up becoming a Jedi?
it just
Like
made it was so I've never seen a more tacked on scene in my life. Like it just was complete like I get the kind of the point which was like, the Asian chick like gave him the ring like cuz like there are rebels everywhere, like everybody's fighting, but it's like it
and
just
they're
doesn't
rodents
work.
everywhere.
Yeah, so
Well,
this fucking movie pissed me off.
yeah, I just thought it was a long movie too.
It
Like I think it was
was.
longer than The Force Awakens.
Yeah, and Force Awakens was like lightning quick pace. This was slower pace, longer, which was good, but they had that fucking Finn story could have been cut out. I
No,
mean,
like
this,
it wasn't good. It was bad. The pacing, it was just like dragged on and on. The other one just kind of went exact opposite. But you have to have a sense of pacing. And
yeah,
whoever directed this, they shouldn't have. What other movies did they make? Like the director for this one?
Ryan Johnson, who, see, this is where when they say, "Oh, he directed this and this," doesn't mean he's gonna be good. He directed 3 episodes of Breaking Bad. He directed the Fly episode, which is a cult kind of fan favorite episode. I didn't care too much for that episode. because all it is Walt and Jesse trying to kill a fly, but there's like a lot of character development. But then Ozymandias, which is an amazing episode that he directed, and then there's a third one. I think it's like half and half or 50 and a half. I already forget, but he directed those episodes, but he did not write those episodes. Vince Gilligan and his crew of writers did. He directed and fucking wrote this movie. That's the problem. He could have directed it and it probably would have been okay, but he wrote it. And I think there
The
might have been other
problem
writers,
too,
but like, oh, is it bad?
the problem too is you can go and like make a television show, and you can like a television show and a movie are two different things. He's probably
Yeah.
like, oh, it should be just like a TV episode but longer, and that's might be why the movie just
No.
went like
Yeah.
forever. But yeah, I would highly recommend you not see this film.
Yeah.
If it comes on television, you're just watching stuff.
Sure.
If you really have nothing better to do, have a couple of beers or something because you'll need them if you're gonna watch this. Like, I
Yeah.
definitely wouldn't spend the money in the theater. Just show them with your wallet
Yeah,
what
exactly. Need to boycott Disney so they don't crank out more of this shit.
like this. I saw what was happening with the Force Awakens, but I had like hope that maybe it wasn't gonna like be this bad. The
Yeah.
Force Awakens, I really didn't like it, but it wasn't like this terrible. Like it just bam. You
Yeah,
know,
I'm debating which is worse. I really can't decide because Force Awakens is more unoriginal, but this one's more like bad on like a lot of technical story, character, and like levels and universe, mythology levels. But like, yeah, it's depressing that this didn't turn out better because this director had a good history. He also directed Looper. I forgot to mention the film Looper, which was pretty well praised. I have not seen that, so I can't say. And it's like this guy had some good shit that he supposedly did, and he goes and does this, and now they're hiring him to do another trilogy for Star Wars. I
how
mean,
many trailers? Okay,
yeah,
okay. This is my problem with Disney.
yeah,
Like I actually liked like Rogue One. I thought was done pretty well. I
yeah. That
enjoyed
was
that.
that was decent, even though it had some big problems. Yeah,
I mean, it wasn't meant to be a regular Star Wars film. It was like a side story, and that's what I kind of liked about it.
which is kind of why it worked. Because the thing with this guy is he made things different, and it's like that would work for a movie not in this main Star Wars saga. Like if it was like remember that I think there was a video game called Star Wars 1313, which was gonna be this like dark M-rated sort of Star Wars. Like if you were to do like a movie, a side movie, a Star Wars story as they call it now, of like some take Star Wars a darker, maybe more violent direction, that would work, but doing it as part of this new trilogy doesn't work.
Yeah, absolutely. They just need to go and stop. Like honestly, I would have liked if George Lucas just came back, and
Yes.
I don't know, like Sony's gonna make a GoFundMe and just give him back the rights. But of course, Disney won't let it go.
No, George
Disney just
Lucas, the
wants,
biggest mistake he did was selling this thing to Disney. Like, I
but
like
you,
George Lucas, I respect him, but that is a big fucking mistake. Because he sold to the
well,
thing he hated, which is big corporations that don't give a shit about art and all they give a shit about is profit.
yeah, shoot, like look at what's going on with Disney. Like, didn't they buy Marvel or something?
Dude, they bought fucking Marvel and they've been cranking those movies out every other month. Like, oh, I saw
Or
the fucking Infinity War trailer and that. Did this happen at your theater where every like ad like before the previews had to do with Star Wars? That was annoying. I mean, I understand the
no,
target
I didn't get
marketing there,
that.
but it was like Star Wars everything.
I didn't get that.
Yeah, yeah. The trailers were all a bunch of shit, but like, there's actually one good trailer. I don't know if you saw. It was called A Quiet Place. That was a cool trailer where it was like all quiet. It was like this horror movie where everything was quiet, then the sound kicks in, like spooks you, because that was kind of the concept. That was cool. But
But no, like here's the thing: like when Disney buys things, like shoot, like look at Marvel, look at the comics, like right now,
oh god,
like
so
with Marvel.
unoriginal.
It's just gone so terrible, and they keep releasing movie after movie after movie until I bet there's going to be a big crash with the like superhero movies because
Yeah,
they keep increasing the budgets,
people
and
are gonna get tired of it.
people I don't think are going to want to really watch them as much anymore because it goes everywhere. Like it's every single like movie. That's all the big budget films are like superhero movies, and it was cool a while ago
Yeah,
when they did the first ones, like the first Spider-Man. I thought that was pretty cool.
yeah.
Like the old, like the Batman trilogy, those
Oh,
were good.
Nolan's Batmans are amazing.
But then, they just kept doing it. Then, like with the Avengers, I think that wasn't. It just started like driving a drop in quality after that.
And now it's like the Avengers and Guardians of the Galaxy against a fucking god. It's like, what are they gonna do next in Infinity
I think
War?
Spider-Man's in that one too,
Yeah, they're dragging Spider-Man into it too.
and Black Panther.
Yeah, the Wee was Kang's superhero.
Oh man, Black Panther.
He's
Like,
something.
how many geez, how many superheroes are they just gonna make up new I mean I guess he was in the original Avengers, but really,
Yeah,
yeah, you would need a Black Panther these days.
yeah.
A superhero named after a violent terrorist organization. Yeah,
It's like
that's a good idea.
it is a great idea, and they have
Have
so
him
many
join the
characters in this movie.
hashtag resistance.
Yes.
Now I'm like I'm in Star Wars. That's why don't you have like Luke Skywalker, like Ray or something, go and join the Avengers.
It's
Have
gonna
yeah,
happen.
that'd be perfect.
Yeah, Marvel Cinematic Universe meets Star Wars Cinematic Universe. It's gonna fucking happen. God damn it.
Wait. Does Disney own the rights to like Guardians of the Galaxy?
Oh yeah, dude, that's Marvel. They own that shit. Yeah, they own
Oh,
Marvel. They
so
own
you could go
Star
and have
Wars.
like the Guardians of the Galaxy and Star. That's probably what they're gonna do.
Dude, they're already doing a fucking Infinity War. Don't give them any more ideas.
They own Infinity Ward.
Well, have you seen that the Avengers Infinity War trailer? Remember, you? I think you saw that
No.
when you saw it, where it was like Thor's like at the end of the trailer, he's like, "Who the hell are you guys?" And it cuts to the Guardians of the Galaxy crew.
I didn't see that.
Oh, yeah, it's
Jeez.
basically the Avengers and the Guardians of the Galaxy people are gonna fight against a god.
Oh, if I said Infinity Ward, like the people make Call of Duty, I'm just like, what?
I
Like
know they
I
they
knew
stole
like
that.
Disney was big, but like at what point are they considered a monopoly?
Now, well, they're buying. They bought a huge stake in 21st Century Fox, so they bought The Simpsons. Part of that deal is they got The Simpsons and FX, which is a great channel that's gonna get fucked up now. They bought
Well,
these
to be
things.
honest, The Simpsons. That's I don't
I don't
see
watch
why
Simpsons.
people it was dead for years. They just keep like giving on as hard the longest running TV show, and they don't want to kill it.
Yeah, but
They probably
FX
don't
had
make
good
that much
stuff.
money
Like the
off
actual
of it.
channel had like Fargo and The Americans, The Bridge, had a lot of good shit.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I have to actually watch that. But anyways,
Final
yeah. So
thoughts?
that's my thought. Yeah, that's my thoughts on it.
Well,
All
I
right.
think the movie can be summed up in where Ray hands Luke the lightsaber and he just chucks it behind him. Like fuck it. That's Ryan Johnson. He's like fuck Star Wars. Fuck it.
I don't know. I think it was like they forget about the past, destroy it if you have to. That's this movie. It's destroying the past, destroying the old Star Wars in with the new social like politics Star Wars, and that's exactly what's going. And if
Yeah.
you like that, you know,
Power to you.
this movie can be for you. If you just want to be like gender politics Star Wars, yeah, that this might be your cup of tea. If not, well, too bad. There's no movie for you
Yep.
if you're worried to shine. All right, but yeah, you good?
Yeah. Well, all I can say is Poe did nothing wrong. Luke Skywalker did nothing wrong. Ryan Johnson probably did everything wrong. Disney probably did everything wrong. We'll catch you guys next time with another hopefully movie review. We'll see you later.